I got to talk to you about some Tuesday stuff.
Tuesdays with stories.
Yeah.
Every thumbnail.
Well, I've been in a couple of thumbnails recently. Because you have to know, Mark embellishes some shit. That
Mark Norman has never exaggerated or straight out lied in his life.
Here to clear your name.
well, there's nothing to clear. I mean, yeah, he's always bitching about the fucking Tesla.
We got to get rid of this car.
Just for Mark, it's my car. I just
No, I love putting you in the thumbnails. I love this guy. I want to get him some exposure.
It is funny because I'm just imagining like people watching the episode and go, who the fuck is this random Indian dude
well,
in
actually,
the thumbnail?
It's actually worked to my benefit. I appreciate it, Chuck, because a couple of people reached out to me. They're like, dude, you're like a staple now. Like every time I hear your name, I know he's going to say some shit about the Tesla.
We are rolling.
See, this place is crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
You're so pro. It's just, maybe we should talk about the show.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, we're rolling, so we're here.
I'll take some adulation. Okay, timer starts right now. And hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Roger Gets a Machine. I'm back here again with my awesome producer, Eric. What's his last name? Wait. Oh, yeah, Grisanti.
That's rough. That's fucking rough.
I was so focused on worrying about Chuck.
Eric,
I forgot.
Eric, I'm so sorry.
Good luck on your Patreon, Raj.
God damn.
That was a bit, obviously.
I'm sorry.
Just say everything's a bit. Whenever you say something racist, you'd be like, it's a bit.
It's a bit, obviously.
Yeah.
It just says the N-word. Sorry, that's a bit.
It's a bit.
It's an inside joke.
But yeah, we're back with our awesome producer, Eric Grisanti, and we got our fun guest here, Chuck Staton.
Yes.
All the way from Rhode Island.
That's right.
Who doesn't live there anymore? Now he's a New Yorker.
I have a house there still.
Oh, you do have a house.
I have a house there, an apartment in New York. I'm a real elite.
This guy's. I mean, who else could say that? Nobody else could say.
That's
I mean,
right.
I could say that. I have a house in Pennsylvania and I have an apartment here.
Wow,
Eric,
people hate us already. They're like, look at these pieces of shit with their two houses.
hey, this is what we got to do. We got to live like this to pay the bills.
I mean, for me, I bought a house that cost nothing. That was a shitty house. This house, it stunk. I'm going to tell you this. Horsehair plaster, old electricity.
Sure.
But the old electricity was a blessing in disguise because my house burned down.
Oh,
Pretty sweet. Sweet deal.
Insurance payout.
Lose all your possessions, cry at the fire. Now this is fun. And but yeah, they rebuilt the house, so now it's a brand new house.
Modern appliances, everything updated.
Everything,
Up to code.
100%. I put in a new bathroom.
Whoa!
Right under their noses. I snuck it in there. I'm like, I had two. You know,
That's great. Be like,
Oh, yeah.
but there's only plumbing for one.
it is funny. You can really fuck with insurance.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to talk about this, but like, I got out of there and they put me in this gigantic apartment. The apartment was $4,500 a month, which is insane. And I started going out to eat and I was like submitting all my restaurant bills, right? And they're paying me. Then one day my insurance agent calls. He goes, why are we paying you for like going out to eat? We got you a place with a stove and a kitchen. And I'm like, all right, see you later. And I hung up. But they shouldn't have been paying me for that.
Wow! So they covered all the things you submitted.
Absolutely. And it's funny because it's like there's no oversight. So like they just kind of go like, oh, you submitted a receipt here, whatever.
Wow!
It was crazy. It was a crazy time. But house is nice. My buddy rents 2 rooms there. I go back there once in a while because my family's there.
Right.
And I do my podcast, Funbearable, there.
Oh, so what do you tape? Like 3 or 4 episodes every time you're back?
Yeah, we do a bunch over a bunch of days. We're really lucky. There's a club there called the Comedy Connection. It's in East Providence, Rhode Island.
I've done that club.
I love it. It's I love it. It's such a great room, and they have a studio in the basement that they let us use.
Oh.
So we'll go and we'll do a couple episodes. We do a lot of like writing and planned bits for our podcast. It's a really strange podcast, so it kind of helps because we'll be like, the new Jurassic Park's coming out. Let's do an episode where we all write our own version of the next Jurassic Park sequel, and we'll all come in with it.
Oh, that's so cool.
That'll be one, and then we'll do a hang podcast, so it's back and forth. But yeah, so I go back here and there, but I'm mostly here in New York.
Yes. Okay, cool. And then you also, so you're a co-host on the Funbearable podcast.
Yes.
With your buddy Brad.
Brad Rohr and Ray Harrington.
Yes, Brad and Ray. I met them both whenever I worked on that gig with you.
The Sizzle reel that we shot.
The Sizzle reel at the documentary.
Yes, that was great. It was awesome.
I'll never forget that day because I don't watch Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who Q was.
Yes, right.
And so
Very offensive.
So like I'm setting up the camera and he's like standing there talking to someone. And
Yeah, and you were like, get out of my way, and you butt tapped him. I remember that.
I was like, "Excuse me, sir. Could you take this conversation elsewhere?"
I also
You shoved him hard. He fell over a fire hydrant. Remember that?
And then I was like, "What's your name, by the way?" He's like, "Q." I was like, "Nobody's name is Q. What is?" Now you're just fucking with me.
That's how he made his living too. Q. They were doing sizzle reels. The Impractical Jokers were doing new sizzle reels for different shows.
Right.
I think it was because they thought the show, they didn't know if it was going to continue. And I was hired to direct that one.
Yeah.
And I was hired as a camera operator on a second one that we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, let me hire all my friends. And so I called you in. It was great.
It was so fun. It was a great experience. And yeah, I'll never forget. And clearly, Q didn't forget either because I saw him last month when I was filming Dr. Phil.
Oh, yes.
And he was a guest on the Dr. Phil show.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, "Oh, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I worked with you on this thing, a year ago." And he was like, "You're the guy who doesn't know who the hell I am." He's like, "Now you know who I am?" And I was like, "Ah, shit."
Q is the coolest guy ever. There's certain people who have like kind of helped me out, and Q has been... the things he's pulling me into and helped me out with are amazing. He's the most generous dude ever.
Yeah.
We go out to lunch all the time, and he's like, I'm very honest with him. He encourages that, and he's high up. So, I'm a piece of shit. So he doesn't need to listen to me. There's a lot of pieces of shits in the world. Wait,
Well,
pieces
yeah.
of shit. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, piece of shits.
Piece of shits. No. Pieces of shit.
Pieces of shits.
Yeah, the shit is a whole.
Right.
And we each pieces of it.
Yes. Or there could be multiple shits.
Oh,
And,
interesting.
And we are all just that shit.
Interesting. Pieces of shits.
Pieces of
shit. A lot. I like that.
But no. Anyway, Quinn, he's a cool dude.
Nicest, yeah.
He was very nice. So.
Yeah, he's the best.
But he did remember. I was like, wow, that's crazy that he remembered. I must have left quite an impression.
Yeah, he's good at that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, so basically, I've been working on his podcast since like 2016. It's called Tell 'Em Steve Dave, and it's Q with two guys from the show Comic Book Men, which was about Kevin Smith's comic book store. It was on AMC.
Okay.
And honestly, it was one of those things where I started working with them, and I'm like, I don't want to bother Q. Like he's, he comes there to kind of hang out and relax with his friends, not to fucking work and think about work. So I never wanted to be like, hey, bring me into stuff. And then eventually I was listening to the show a couple of years ago, and he's like, you know what? I'd really like Chuck to be my creative partner. He said it on the show, and I'm listening, and I'm like, maybe tell me, maybe reach out to me and say that. But he just kind of like noticed the work that I was doing with them, like all the directing and all that kind of stuff. And he just kind of pulled me in just because he saw it. Like it was so incredibly generous and nice for him to like reach out and be like, hey, come do stuff with me.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
No, that's awesome. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, you are an idea guy. Like I've known you for like 5-6 years now, like a long time. And, you always have these crazy ideas. It just sucks because you're also one of the idea guys that has an idea and then you actually execute it. There's so many idea guys that like have all these crazy ideas and they don't do anything with it.
I think it's like talent is this much of what gets you forward, and perseverance is like 95% of what makes you move forward especially in entertainment.
Yeah, 100%.
Because everyone does kind of go, I want to do this. Oh, this is hard. And so I think being like, there's a saying called embrace the suck. Have you ever heard that?
Oh yeah.
I think embrace the suck is the way to go, where you're just like, I got to make this thing. I'm going to put in 100 hours of editing and we don't know what's going to happen. And I'm just like, fucking do it. You never know. You just never know.
That's what me and Raj do every week.
Yeah, exactly.
We just embrace the suck and record a new episode.
I think that gets you places. It's funny because I actually started working with them because I was doing my podcast in Rhode Island. At the time, it was called the Chuck and Brad Podcast because we wanted the title for worst name ever. And we were just doing it independently. We didn't do video, but we did live shows, and I would film them and make a multicam cut just to have it for posterity.
Right.
And Tell 'Em Steve Dave was doing a live show, and I sent them that. And I said, can I come film this? I'm sure you guys are not filming this. And they kind of blew me off. So I looked up the Impractical Jokers manager, Dexter, who is a wicked nice guy too. And I reached out to him cold. And I'm like, here's what I've done independently. Can I come film this? And they hired me to do it. And that's how the relationship started. So I was filming it for no reason, for nobody. Yeah. I wasn't even going to put it out. And that was a step.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy that like you reached out to them cold. Like you're one of the few people that I know that actually like that takes the effort to reach out to people cold, and then you book the gig.
Dude,
Like-
that's how I tell Steve Dave, Tuesdays with Stories, Mike Birbiglia, Kevin Smith, all those were me being like, hey, I'm this guy. Well, come on, let me in. What are you doing? But I do reach out to people cold all the time and it goes nowhere too.
True,
You
but
know?
I mean the fact that these aren't jokes. Like these are big name things that you're doing.
Yeah.
And these are old cold calls.
They really are.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I still have the first voicemail that Mark Normand left me when I reached out to Tuesdays, and he's like, "Hey, Chuck," he's like, "I got your email. I don't want to do anything. I'll hear you out, but get ready because I don't want to do any of what you're gonna say." And I was like, "Let me come to New York and I'll film for free for a day."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay." And so that's how I started working with Tuesdays. Is that I just put myself out there. I'm like, I'll pay for my, hotel. I was living in Rhode Island at the time.
Yeah.
I go, you don't have to pay me for the first day. If you like what you see, keep me around. And it was cool because, so I went to Mark's apartment, which is insane that he'd let someone into his apartment like that.
Right.
And we were shooting Tuesdays with Stories with Mark and Joe. And I legitimately forgot something in my car. And I was like, I'm like, let me run downstairs. And then we paused it and cameras were rolling. And I went to edit it later and they're talking. And Mark's like, I think this is our guy.
Oh,
I think
that's
we found the guy,
awesome.
which is cool, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
really-
that's awesome that went that way. Because imagine they were like, this fucking guy, he smells.
Exactly. That's what I was waiting for, But yeah, I really believe in like, do your stuff. Do what you think is creative and fun and cool. Even if you're like, I don't know where this is going to go. This is just for me. Just do it. And then when you get an opportunity, you get to say, here's this thing. Plus you polish it. You do a thing. It sucks. You do another thing. It sucks 2% less. And you keep doing it. You know what I mean?
And then the cool thing about working on projects like that, where you're not even sure if this is going to turn into a financial benefit, is that you take what you need out of it. So you're learning the camera, you're learning the audio, you're learning how to do all these things yourself. So then when you get that next paying gig, you can bring all this shit with you.
Exactly.
And you're literally getting paid to train.
That's true. That's absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the coolest things about Tell 'em Steve Dave, the podcast with Q and everybody, is that when they brought me in, what happened was we did a couple projects that they were thinking about with video, like very sporadically. And then Comic Book Men got canceled. And they didn't expect that. Kevin Smith had just had a heart attack. So they thought the AMC would definitely be like, oh, we got to keep this guy. But it got canceled. And they decided to go with Patreon. And they had like 150,000 weekly listeners. So they thought they'd have a good chance at doing a really strong one, which they did. But they brought me in and they kind of gave me creative reign over stuff. Like we'll start new shows because we do very highly produced. They're almost like in between podcasts and talking head documentaries. And so we'll start doing a new show. And Walt Flanagan, the main guy, he doesn't even give me any direction in terms of like an intro and all or lower thirds packaging. Cause I want to make it so that this could be on television. I want to do it as high quality as possible to stand out. And I'll just be like, all right, I went and shot this thing in this abandoned house and I did this. And he's like, okay. And they pay me for it, even though they had no input and I just did it myself. So that was really, really like a gift. You know what I mean? Cause I could I don't want to say fail, but I could make things of varying quality or just kind of put my ideas out there and see how they go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then like how does that benefit you to like half-ass? First of all, you're not even getting paid like, a crazy amount. And then for you to half-ass it, that benefits you by no means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've used a lot of that stuff in my reels to get hired on other stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the
Which
thing.
I think you landed the Drew Barrymore gig, right?
Yeah. So basically, that was funny. So what happened was I was in Providence, Rhode Island, and a lot of people don't know this. Mike Birbiglia moved to Rhode Island during the pandemic.
So he currently still lives there?
No, he doesn't still live there, but he was on Fallon. He was like doing a remote thing, and he's like, hey, "This is my studio in Rhode Island." And my mom's a huge comedy fan. She's awesome. My mom is the coolest. She watches all late night shows. She watches specials. She loves Nate Bargatze. That's her newest guy.
Wow.
And she's the best. And
What does she think about Norman and List?
she loves him. We all went to go see Norman together, and they loved him. I thought it was awesome. And so she texted me, and she goes, "Do you know that Mike Birbiglia has a studio in Providence?" And so I reached out to his brother, Joey Baggs, who is like his manager. And I was like, "Hey, if you need any help, I'm in Rhode Island too." They were like, "Thank you." And they didn't talk to me. And then like a year and a half later, they were like, "Hey, are you around New York?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did move to New York." And they're like, "Come work on our stuff." And so I was working with Mike. And the first day I worked with him, he's like, "Come to my house." And I went to his house. And he's like, first of all, I'll tell you a funny thing. I went to go park in front of his house, and this is in like Brooklyn. And he's like, I'm like, and it was so tight. And he's like, I'll do it. He gets in my car. He just hits the car.
No, shit.
Like, what the fuck
what are you doing? Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. And he's like, we're going to go to the Drew Barrymore show today. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you're going to set up in her dressing room. We're going to do a podcast, me and Drew. And I'm like, okay. So I went to the Drew Barrymore show at the CBS building. I'm meeting all the people. I got a girl's phone number and in one day. And so I go in her dressing room, which is weird. And I set up the podcast. And I'm filming it. And at the end, I'm packing up and Drew's like, she's wicked nice. She's the coolest. She's like, so where are you located? I'm like, oh, Staten Island. She's like, all right, we'll call you. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
And then CBS reached out and they're like, Drew's thinking about starting a podcast and we want you to shoot the pilot and see what she thinks about it.
Whoa.
So yeah, so there's a couple rooms in CBS that are attached to her show and we had a room set up for it. So we shot the pilot and she was really happy with it and they continued and big payday because it's CBS.
Of course.
And then I was like, I can't believe this. I'm rich. I'm like, fuck Mark Norman, fuck Kevin Smith. And I don't care about Birbiglia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what I'm doing 1 day a week, rest of my life. And then I emailed them and I'm like, hey, when are we shooting more? And they're like, oh no, we have a TV studio.
Yeah.
You were here to do the pilot because you know what you're doing, but now we're just going to use our people. See you later. And I was like,
but hey, Mark, sorry I said all that.
I'll tell you a funny story. So she's like, who do you work with? And I'm telling her, and she goes, Kevin Smith. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I don't know if I should tell this story, but she goes, Kevin Smith did a review of my movie where he said he wanted to tie me to a rusty radiator, a rusty engine, and throw me off a ship into the water.
That's pretty extreme. That's aggressive.
Like, it doesn't even sound like him because he's so artist friendly. And I was like, no fucking way. He didn't say that. And she's like, ask him. So I go to Smodcastle, which was his black box theater in New Jersey. And me and him are filming and we are hanging out. And I'm like, I just filmed with Drew Barrymore and she told me that you said this thing. And he's like, I didn't say that. Did I say that? And I'm like, she said you were filling in for like Siskel or Ebert or one of the two. We watched it and he's talking about the movie and he's like, I didn't like this movie, blah, blah. And he's being a dick and we're watching, it's me and him watching on the cell phone. He's like, oh my God, I must have said it. And then we watched the whole thing and he doesn't say it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm like, you didn't say it. And he's like, give me your phone. And I'm like, you can't, I don't have her phone number. You can't call her. And he's like, no, I'm going to film the thing and you're going to give it to her. And he took my phone and he's like, hey, Drew, I was just talking to Chuck. And I'm like, why am I involved in a feud between Kevin Smith and Drew Barrymore? And he's like, I didn't say this. And he wasn't as confrontational as I'm making it out to be, but he's like, you came to the Dogma premiere and you were a dickhead about it. And you did, and he's like going off on her. And I'm like, he's like, show this to her. And of course I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm not going to show this to, but you did.
No.
Okay.
So I talked about it a little bit on my podcast and someone wrote in and they're like, he did say that. And I'm like, what? And they're like, he said it later in the show. They watched Black Snake Moan later in the show. Christina Ricci.
Yeah. Oh my God. I came so much to that.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I was making love to the television set. I had to interview her one-on-one in front of like 200 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Christina Ricci.
Yeah, at a Comic-Con. It was tough because she had a husband and a baby and I put my hand on her leg. She didn't love it. But so I go back to Kevin and I'm like, dude, you said this. And we watched it. And later in the thing, he does say it. And he was like, oh my God. But so she was right. So Drew won that one.
Well, but did you see her since you went back to Kevin?
That's the thing is I didn't get hired again. So I haven't seen her since then. I just saw her that first time.
Right.
So I didn't get to share the cruel video, but I still have it on my phone and it's bizarre that I'm involved in that.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy.
You think we can show that clip? Like,
we're gonna.
He would slit my throat. He would be so mad. But I would love to, by the way. I would love to. I just know that I can't. I've gotten in trouble so many times.
You shouldn't have asked.
Yeah,
on Tuesdays with Stories, I'm with Mark Norman and Joe List. I'm with them all the time. And they know about all my gigs, so they constantly bring them up on the show. And they're like, they're like, we're losing Chuck. He's working with Birbiglia. He's eating out Drew Barrymore. And I'm like, we cannot put that out there. You can't say that I'm eating out Drew Barrymore.
Well, I know,
when
that's
I'm actually
awesome.
working with her.
Yeah. Now you can.
Now
we can clip this out.
Wait, now I can eat her out or now?
Yeah, both.
No.
I'll watch.
No, just kidding. I'm joking, Drew. Yeah.
I wonder if her badge is as crooked as her mouth. No, okay, sorry. That was.
I love Drew. I when I started working with her, I'm like, oh man, what if I made out with Drew Barrymore? And I was like, that's not going to happen. I don't know how old she is. She looks great, by the way, in person.
No, she's a looker. And the crazy thing is, like, I don't know how you were able to control yourself. But if I met Drew Barrymore, I would start playing like the Poison Ivy highlights in my head. And
dude, I mean Christina Ricci too, and I was like, it was scary. It was nerve wracking.
Poison Ivy.
But
it's an older movie.
Oh, okay.
I gotta turn this around on you.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Because you've been doing this for a long time too. You're working in the film world. You're directing stuff as well. And you are so much more professional than I am by like 1,000%.
Oh, come on.
We should have the producer, Eric, no name, take a picture of this studio and insert it. Because like, I don't have anything like this. I'm at my computer in my house, hunched over a laptop.
Yeah, well, I'm also at my computer at my house, hunched over a laptop, but I'm masturbating.
I hope you do that in here with the lights. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's just
it's slow motion. It's backlit. You got some rim lighting. It's nice.
It's too cold in here to masturbate.
It is. It is chilly. It comes out very thick.
That's the way to go.
It's
almost frozen.
It hurts as it comes out. But yeah, no, this is my full time. I mean, I've been directing TV commercials since I was like 19 or 20 years old. So I've been in the game for a long time.
It's crazy, man. I look up to you and this, like all the stuff that you do. Even when I hired you to do the Sizzle with us. Wicked professional. I mean, we were lucky because we hired a lot of really professional people. So I'm not going to say you're more professional than anyone. You were certainly more professional than me.
Oh, stop it.
But then I come to the studio. You got all these crazy lights. You know what I mean?
It's all smoke and mirrors. None of the stuff means anything.
I feel like I'm an idiot, like stumbling through filmmaking, just failing upwards. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because sometimes when I'll hear about the setups that you have and stuff, I'm like, how would this ever fly? But you make it work. I guess the point is at the end of the day, it really just matters about what the vision is at the end. It doesn't even matter how you achieve that vision.
I think so. A thing I kind of learned, honestly, so I was in a punk band for like 15 years. The band's name was Senior Discount. And one of the things I kind of learned is like, when you try to make a thing, as opposed to trying to make a thing that you cannot make. That's crazy. Like if I was at my house and I'm like, I'm going to make the next Godzilla movie, it would be bad.
Right.
You work within your limitations. And that was big in my band because I'm like, I sing and I can sing like, okay to bad is how I feel. And so I would adjust all my songs and melodies and stuff to be within my register, which makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But then I kind of was like, let me apply that to film. Let me apply that to all these different projects.
Yeah.
And so you do the stuff you can do.
Yeah, you do what you can do. Know your limitations.
Yeah.
Know your limitations. Hire out for the things that you can't do.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you could do is to do something that you're not good at, put it out, and then they'll be like, this guy sucks. And then you lose all your future work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Roberto Rodriguez had a book that he put out. And he kind of said, this is later after I kind of, thought about this. And he said something really similar where he's like, when I made... Is it Desperado or is it Once Upon a Time in Mexico? It's Desperado. That was the first one.
That was the first one.
He's like, we had a guitar, we had a turtle, we had this, we had access to this. So I wrote the script around all the stuff we had. And that's a great idea.
Yeah.
A great idea for people who want to make things is like, find out what your limitations are and just exist there and kill it. Make it as good as possible.
And then you grow.
Exactly.
Then you start expanding your world. Yeah, little by little.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, even before you even get to that point, I think the biggest lesson is what we've talked about earlier. Is like if you have an idea, just fucking do it.
Just do it.
Like that's like the number one thing that holds people back is they just don't even bother executing it because they get so overwhelmed. They're like, oh, how I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. Just fucking do it. Just nowadays it's so easy. You could people are putting out huge productions with a fucking iPhone. Just do it.
I think people could probably do more than they realize if they really tried to do it. I'm friends with this director named Brian Ashell, and he's super high up in the TV industry. He directed Comic Book Man. He was on MTV's. He directed MTV's Boiling Points or was a producer on it. He worked on Lone Survivor, tons of shows, and he hosts a show on the Tell 'em Steve Dave Patreon. They do a show that's about the behind the scenes of comic book men, all the stuff that AMC wouldn't let them do, all the different ideas and everything that happened. And he's my mentor in television and film. And he basically told me, he's like, when I came in to host that show for the first time, he's like, I didn't know what the set would be like or the thing. And he goes, and when I saw you running 3 cameras and the audio and the lights, he said, my industry is done. Because he's like, we have this huge crew. We're paying so much money. He's like, if one person can handle all this stuff at the same time, then what is the future of the industry of this gigantic crew?
True. I mean, that is true, and that's also false.
I think so too.
Yeah, because like for things like this, right, you could do with 1 or 2 people. But if, let's say, you were filming a TV commercial, you can't do. You still need 15, 20 people there, everybody doing their own thing.
I think that my vision of like what the future of the industry is going to be, because obviously there's a lot less jobs, a lot of shows getting bought. That's a thing. I think what they're going to go is like, let's say a TV show, an episode, their budget is $50,000. And then the independent version of that is $5,000.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is they're going to find a middle ground and they're going to say more minimal crew, and we're going to figure that out. But it's never going to be just that $5,000 budget for these gigantic networks.
No.
But they're going to change too. There's probably going to be some that go away.
I mean, I just posted something yesterday. It was an AI video with audio now, so I think we're all fucked.
Yeah,
An AI video with audio now?
As opposed to just the cool AI videos where you're like, oh, this looks legit. It's like they're speaking, and it's an old man on a boat, and he's, I don't know.
Yeah, but I still don't think we're fucked. I mean, as people in the film industry, I don't think we're fucked. I
agree.
Yeah, because we're still light years away from AI fully recreating human element.
I think so too.
Which you just,
yeah.
You don't agree?
I think because we said that last year when all this shit was coming out, and now it's like, okay, we're light years ahead of whatever it was last year.
Yeah.
What is it going to look like in 2 years when the contracts are up?
Yeah, but the imperfections in reality is what AI can never recreate. AI is too perfect.
I think also Indiana Jones 5 came out last summer and everyone shit on the young Indiana Jones. It's like, if Disney money can't produce a young Harrison Ford when they have 1 billion hours of footage of him at every angle, and that still is something that people criticize, then at what point are we going to get to the point where you can just make something out of nothing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think as filmmakers or people that work in the film industry, we're always going to be good. We're going to be good for a long time.
I think so. And I think that the AI aspect of this stuff is going to make a lot of things easier, and it may eliminate some jobs, but it's not going to be like, people are like, oh, I could just make a movie on my phone or with AI stuff. And I'm like, I don't think so. You can make a little element that's going to help you out, but you can't make a rom-com.
No.
You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. AI, but it is funny. You were talking about that director who saw you running that whole one-man crew. The first time I got hired to do a gig with you, this was even before I worked on the Sizzle reel, was the live Tuesdays at the Gramercy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then so Jason Katz called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go shoot for Chuck? He's filming the live thing at the Gramercy."
Yeah,
and I'm just like, I've never done one of these before. I come from the commercial world. I don't do live shit. And I don't know what the hell to expect. It's too complicated. I always just sit back in the director's chair and I tell somebody else to hit the camera. And he's like, no, it's really easy. Go.
Yeah.
Go. And then I go there and I see you, and then you're like, oh, I've been doing this forever. This is so easy. I run all this stuff by myself, and I was like, what the fuck? This is.
Can I tell you, you and Katz coming in, super helpful, because you guys will get like a main wide on the Blackmagic, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
And then all my dumb cameras, I can just try to match the color, and then everyone's tricked by it. They think all the cameras look that good.
Yeah.
It's like they got the main wide and you got the supplemental, and people don't even notice that the other ones are not as high quality.
Right, because if you throw in one good camera in there, you trick them.
Especially if it's the main camera.
Yes, correct.
That's the same thing as like when I do shows for Tuesdays or Tell 'em Steve Dave on our Patreon. We do like varied shows, like different versions of Tuesdays with Stories where they do commentary or whatever. My belief system is, if you do a super produced intro that's really, really good and impressive,
Right.
people are tricked the whole time. They're like, this is a good show. It's just like a thing.
Yeah.
It's like you put your best foot forward and it puts you in this place where people are already satisfied with the quality.
Dude, like ad 101. It's all about the packaging, right? If the packaging looks good, you'll eat the cereal, right?
Exactly. We're doing a new show on Tell 'em Steve Dave's Patreon called, it's the same guy, Brian Nichelle, the director. It's called Brian Nichelle's Time Capsule. And it's about, they take stuff into the podcast and they argue that it should be put in a time capsule for 1,000 years in the future. And then everyone has to vote.
Okay.
It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to make this the most produced show I've ever made.
Yeah.
And we made the intro fucking crazy. It looks awesome. Then even with the packaging, the lower thirds and all that stuff, which is very film nerd. I hope no one's checking out. I was like, this has to be the best one. And I really worked it until I thought it was great. And I think it is an element of people feeling like this is a highly produced thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you do all the packaging yourself? Are you an After Effects guy or you set it out?
I don't really do After Effects. I do everything in Premiere. I do figure that stuff out and then I make a template and then I have editors that help me after that.
Like tweak it?
Well, not even tweak it. It's just use the stuff that I finalize. So I do all of it myself in the first place.
Okay.
And then I'll send my editors the lower thirds, the intro, the outro, all that stuff like that.
And then they implement it.
They implement it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, man.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I was going to say Tuesdays. I got to talk to you about some Tuesday stuff.
Tuesdays with stories.
Yeah.
Every thumbnail.
Well, I've been in a couple of thumbnails recently. Because you have to know, Mark embellishes some shit. That
Mark Norman has never exaggerated or straight out lied in his life.
Here to clear your name.
well, there's nothing to clear. I mean, first of all, this fucking guy, he said it takes 6.5 hours to go from here to Ithaca. It's like 4. Okay, and
that's Mark's stories. That's what you got to do. You got to say this is 150% of what's real. That's a good way to gauge it.
Yeah. It's definitely, there's a baseline there, but then there's all this extra stuff. But yeah, he's always bitching about the fucking Tesla.
We gotta get rid of this car.
Just for Mark, it's my car. I just
tell Mark to buy a new car, and then we don't have this problem anymore.
that's true. Maybe. Yeah.
No, I love putting you in the thumbnails. I love this guy. I want to get him some exposure.
It is funny because I'm just imagining like people watching the episode and go, who the fuck is this random Indian dude
well, actually,
in the thumbnail?
It's actually worked to my benefit. I appreciate it, Chuck, because a couple of people reached out to me. They're like, dude, you're like a staple now. Like every time I hear your name, I know he's going to say some shit about the Tesla.
Well, it's also like you open for him all the time.
Yeah.
So tons of people see you opening for him, and then they see you on the thumbnail, and it just kind of makes them think about you more.
Yes, I really appreciate it. You're a good dude.
Raj should be a part of the Patreon.
I think
put
so
him
too.
Put him behind the paywall.
Well, it's funny when I started working. So with Tell 'em Steve Dave, there's like a ton of people. Like there's main 3 guys, Walt, Brian Johnson and Brian Quinn. But then they have this extended cast of people that host different shows. It's really brilliant. It's all Walt Flanagan. He came up with everything. So they have a rotating cast of like, I'd say like 18 people total that like make up, like they'll do a podcast with 5 people. So it'll be Walt, Brian Johnson, and 3 other people. Then they'll do another one. It'll be Walt, Brian, and 3 other people. And they do that so that it really diversifies the content for the listener. And when I worked with Tuesdays, when I came in, I'm like, hey, who else can we bring in? And they're like, huh? And so it's just them, which is a lot more responsibility. I was like, how about bringing in May and Sarah, their wives? And they're like, no.
Well, you guys brought May in for one episode.
Yeah.
We've
Ari came on to promote his special.
Okay.
But basically the Tuesdays listeners will go to my house and put burning crosses on my lawn whenever we have a guest.
Oh, wow.
They fucking flip out. They hate it.
They do not like guests on the show. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I could cough into the mic by accident and they would fucking try to lynch me.
Really?
They hate anyone else even speaking whatsoever.
But you're part of the show.
Dude, Joe could be like, hey, can you look this up? And I'll be like, here's what it is. I'll say 10 words and people are just like, I hope
Shut
this
the
guy
fuck
dies.
up.
There's a lot of people.
But I think they're shitting on you because they shit on you.
This is the problem. Because someone will say something super shitty about me on Twitter, and I'll respond and I'll be like, you motherfucker, I'm going to kill your sister, all this stuff. And then I'll be like, I was kidding, I love you. And I was like, oh, I'm trying to delete the tweet.
Yeah.
You know, that does happen. But then there's like, it's funny because the Patreon has changed where like, I think because I'm a little bit part of the show and I'm also the person that talks to everyone on Patreon. We have a live chat and we joke around. Now the Patreon is really supportive of me and they're really, really cool and they're really nice. But there's like 2 people who are holdouts. You know, we have 9,000 people on the Patreon.
Right.
And there's just 1 or 2 pieces of shit that everything we come out with is like Chuck should die. I'm waiting for Chuck's death. I hope he gets cancer, stuff like that.
Jesus.
And he gets like 0 likes. And I'm like, you're the worst person alive and no one agrees with you or likes you.
I'll change my username.
I like that.
But, that's
Balani Raj. It tricked me. I didn't put it together.
I should have been like, this guy's a fucking idiot. How does he not know?
Raj, didn't you get confused with a different Raj or a different Indian dude? You posted something about on Reddit. They thought.
Oh yeah. So when I opened for Mark in Ithaca, on Reddit, on Mark's Reddit, people are like, "Oh, who was that opener? He was funny. I love him. He was so much funnier than Mark. I should only see him."
Yeah, exactly.
So some guy was like, I don't. He was really good, but his name was way too hard to pronounce. And then some guy underneath him was like, it was Umar Khan. It was actually a really easy name to pronounce.
Umar rules too. He's the best guy ever.
No, he's great. But then Umar
hilarious.
actually commented. He's like, it wasn't me. Maybe it was Raj. And then I commented. I was like, it was definitely Raj. And I was like, also not that hard to pronounce.
Yeah, I know. You know the name Roger? Just stop after the first half.
Yeah, just stop right there.
Yeah, you got it.
But yeah, no, Mark's fans are interesting, and I never realized how hard my name was until.
One of the things I've taken from Mark that I think is fun, he does comedy all the time. Mm-hmm. I do it for other stuff. Tragedy. Charity. I try to bring it to different places.
Ejaculatory.
Well, I was thinking, how they used to do, what's that Halloween show they used to do? Something or something. It was like basically everyone on the show. Mark used to host this Halloween show every year.
Oh, Stick or Treat.
Stick or Treat.
Yeah.
And people would just do impressions of other comics. Mm-hmm. And I was always like, oh man, emo Mark Normand. Tragedy.
Oh, that's so
Wouldn't
funny. That would be really funny. Have you pitched the idea to him?
No, I haven't told him. I don't know if they do Stick or Treat anymore.
I don't think so. I tried to get on Stick or Treat twice. Once they actually got back to me and they were like, yeah, and it wasn't Mark. He hosted. I think the people that ran it was the people that run the Creek and the Cave in Austin now.
Yeah.
But she got back to me and she was like, who can you do? And I was like, I can do a pretty good Mark Normand.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, you should do like Russell Peters or something. I was like, oh, okay, so you're a fucking racist too. All right.
That's funny. You should have been like, well, how about Lucy Liu?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you mean Rusey Roo? Come on, I had to. Come on.
There you go. I like it.
But yeah, that's where was I?
Mexican boat hitting a bridge?
The Mexican boat hitting the bridge. Oh wait, no. Before we get to that, what's the thing you got coming up on June 1st?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So I have a podcast called Funbearable, like I said, with Ray Harrington and Brad Rohr. Mm-hmm. And it's very fun, funbearablepod.com or at funbearablepod on socials. And we're doing a live show on June 1st. It's a Sunday at the Comedy Connection in East Providence, Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. If you're in the New England area, come on out. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. It's worth it. And when we do a live podcast, it's not a podcast.
Yeah.
It's all these different segments. We write stuff beforehand. We do a little kind of improvisational stuff. And I wanted to tell you just because this was so fun. And I was like, this guy will appreciate this. Mm-hmm. So we did a thing last year when we did our 100th episode live. Our buddy Brad on the podcast likes hot dogs a lot. And we mentioned it once where he was like, yeah, he's like, I don't like them that much. I eat 100 a year. It's not that much. And
yeah.
That's a wicked lot of hot dogs.
That's mad
way
hot
more
dogs.
than you should be eating. I'm talking about, I probably eat 6 a year. And so people I don't know why, they glommed onto that more than anything on our podcast. All the listeners were just hot dog memes, out of our Facebook group, hot dog.
Wow.
It's insane. So we were doing our live show and me and Ray were talking, Ray and I, and we said, we came up with an idea. So we said to Brad, for the final bit of the show, just come on stage and we have an idea. And he's like, okay. So what we did was we took a picture of him holding a hot dog and I told him it was for the marketing of the show.
Yeah.
But in actuality, we used it to make a fake advertisement for him having a hot dog cart. And I added the paper hat and all this shit, right?
Oh shit.
We made a ton of them. We sent them all over the country. with messages to like different hot dog places being like, I'm coming for you, you piece of shit. I'm going to run you out of business, stuff like that. We wrote to the FDAA and he's like, I run an illegal hot dog cart out of my bathroom. He's like, we keep all the hot dogs in the bathtub in water. Is that okay? Like, can you give me your approval? We wrote to food reviewers.
Yeah.
And he's just on stage taking all this. And like, it was really, really fun. It's this bit. I'm surprised that no one else has done this. We've done it a couple of times where you make a thing like a postcard or something with someone on it and you write these messages and you send them all out. You put no return address. You put the email so people respond. Like people have gotten pissed at some of the stuff we've done.
Wow.
FBI reached out to us for one of the ones we did. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, so this one, we did all that. And then he has this hot dog place that he loves where he's from in Indiana called Boz's.
Okay.
Worst name of all time. It even beats the Chuck and Brad podcast. And we wrote to Boz's. He always goes back when he visits his family, and we wrote like, you used to be my mentor. I used to look up to you. But you kicked me out of all the hot dog parties, like all the high end
Jesus.
stuff. I'm coming to take over Dyer, Indiana, with my hot dog business, and then it said at the bottom, you might want to check the paper tomorrow. And we took out an ad in the local paper there,
Jesus,
of the hot dog thing, and it says at the top, better than Boz's. It's just this gigantic challenge. We showed it live. He's like, he was flipping out. Audience, it was great.
Was
it was great.
Brad in on this?
Brad, no, he didn't know.
Oh, he didn't know any of this.
Pranked him live, and did it to him live in front of the audience. So he was finding out at the same time.
Insane.
So he went back to Dyer, Indiana, a couple months later. As soon as he walked in, first person that saw him that worked there was like, you're Brad from Brad's Prots. They knew it immediately.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, here's what happened. And it's so hard to explain. He's like, I'm part of a podcast. We do this weird thing. They pranked me so bad. And it's like, it worked out really well. But that's the type of stuff we do.
Oh my God.
We do a lot of interesting, weird segments. So come on out, funbearablepod.com for tickets. Sunday, June 1st at the Comedy Connection in East Providence, Rhode Island. Live Funbearable show. It'll be very, very funny.
No, I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for this one.
Well, here's what's cool too. So it's called Narragansett Beer's Funbearable Summer Break.
Okay.
Narragansett Beer, which is like the beer in Jaws. They're from Rhode Island, but they're a national brand.
Yeah.
They reached out to us after the show and they were like, we want to sponsor you guys. And they really like our show. So they're trying to produce a can of Brad's Brats non-alcoholic hot dog seltzer.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
And we're trying to get it done for the show. I think we're not allowed to sell it, the stuff inside, but we're going to try to make it so that the cans have a candle that hot dog scented.
It's the worst smelling room ever.
Yeah. So Narragansett Beer has been awesome to us. It's so awesome that they're invested at that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a great show Sunday, June 1st.
That's crazy. Do you have like a crazy thing lined up for this one too?
We have a bunch of ideas. And we're what we try to do with our live podcast is we try to make them themed around something. So we did a winter Funderland show and it was all winter stuff and winter holidays. This is a summer one. So we have some ideas. One of the bits, I'll spoil it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is we found each other's letters from summer camp when we were kids.
Oh.
So what we'll do is like me and Ray will write Brad's and he'll have to read it cold in front of the audience. And Brad and Ray will write mine and stuff like that. And so we do this kind of like prank on the performer stuff at our shows like that.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's fun. I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to be involved with Impractical Jokers is because hidden camera stuff is fun, documentary stuff's fun, but prank on the performer comedy is kind of new. It's not really, usually it's prank on a mark or someone that someone else.
Yeah.
But the idea of making the performer look bad in front of people and the prank is on them is really, really fun. And there's not a ton of stuff out there that's like that yet.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty interesting because like a performer by nature, they perform, right? So when you prank someone like that, it's actually fun to watch. Whereas you prank an ordinary person, I guess you get like a cool reaction or something, but that's where it ends.
Yes.
But when you prank a performer, there's like a show. You got,
It's really fun. The Jokers figured out something really special. We really try to go in that direction because I think that it's just so rich for comedy in a way that has not really been explored all the way yet. So yeah, the shows are really, really fun.
Yeah. And how often do you do the live ones?
We don't do them that often. I'd say we probably do 2 or 3 a year.
Okay.
And we put them out on the feed too. So if you do go to the Funbearable feed, we'll have our 100th episode up live and our Winter Funderland show live. And I think we have a Halloween show live as well. So that you can check out kind of what we do.
Okay.
But not that often. I mean, they're really hard to put together, and you're trying to promote this thing that's so weird. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah.
So we do them sporadically.
Okay, cool. But the cool thing about a live show like this, it's because I've been to quite a few live podcast tapings, and I'm not a fan. I think it's just the same podcast you listen to, but you're watching it happen in real time.
Yeah.
Whereas this is completely different than your podcast formula.
Yes.
And it's actually like an added feature for fans of the show. I think that's cool.
That's how we started. We were like, well, if we do the same thing on the show and people are listening to it for free, how do we make it worth the ticket price? That's kind of where it started, that we thought about segments and different things. We used to do like full on sketches. We did one where it was for Halloween and we had a Ouija board, right? And we said, we have this GoPro on the Ouija board so you guys can see it, and it was up on the screen. But in actuality, we filmed the GoPro stuff first.
Yeah.
So we would be like, all right, we're gonna do the Ouija board. You'd see a pair of ghost hands on the screen that start leading us. And I'm like, I'm screaming with Brad. I'm like, what are you making me say? And you just see on the screen.
So funny.
And eventually the ghost dick comes in, and it's like, hold on. It's like W-A, and he's jacking off the ghost. He doesn't know it. And then Satan's dick comes in, and I'm jacking. And we did it by, like I said, like filming it ahead of time and then learning the choreography of what we were doing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I love coming up with weird stuff like that. It's like my favorite thing in the world is figuring out a new way to play with live comedy that's odd.
Well, that's why you're all the rage, Chuck. That's why. Yeah, I mean, you're like
I appreciate
you're
that.
like every
All the Raj.
All the Raj. Yes, there we go.
That's what we should have named the podcast.
All the Raj. Well, it's not
Raj
too
Against
late.
the Machine's better because all the Raj, it just sounds like you're gonna be like
It's just-
naked and being completely honest, right?
Oh my God, we'll lose viewers every week.
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. But yeah, no, I mean it's true though. Like every comedy podcast, your name always comes up whenever I talk to people about it. They're like, we need a Chuck. We need a Chuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. I did this documentary with Joe List. I pitched it to him, and he was hesitant, but it was really fun. Before his last special came out, we did a 3-part documentary on his YouTube channel. And it was kind of about the history of his career and all this stuff. I had filmed all this awesome footage of him selling out the Wilbur in Boston for the first time.
Right.
And I actually visualized this mashup that was from Girl Talk, which is this mashup DJ I like. He's been really kind to me and my band over the years. And it's a mashup of Notorious B.I.G., It Was All a Dream, that, and Tiny Dancer.
Oh, wow.
Elton John. It's incredible. And so in part 1 of the documentary, we have all of his old footage in Boston when he was wicked young and starting out, all that stuff about Joe. And in the second one, he's waiting to go up at the Wilbur, and they're talking about him. This guy's building him up. And I have the shot of him waiting, and it goes to the Tiny Dancer. And we show all the clips of him starting in Boston as he's about to go on stage. And I visualized this before we even shot at the Wilbur. I came up with it. And so that documentary came out. I personally think it's the best thing quality-wise that I've ever done. And then Mark was like, dude, I was at the Cellar and all the comics were talking about that documentary and how great it came out. And I was really, really taken aback and happy about that because I love comedy so much and I love being involved with the people that I'm involved in. I appreciate them bringing me in. I'm just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're a good piece of shit.
I'm a good piece of shit.
I will say, I didn't really see any of your full blown documentaries. I've seen a lot of the stuff that you did with Tuesdays and stuff. But when I did Rhode Island with Norman that night, where I got the flat tire and we got fucked all over the place,
and we shot it for the doc.
and you shot it for the doc, and then when that came out on Hot Gay Sets, I was like, damn. he actually turned something out of this. I was like, because the whole time you're filming, I was like, what is this? This is fucking garbage. Who's gonna watch this? Like, what? We popped a tire. Who gives a fuck? But then
Help us.
Yeah. Put the camera down and help us with this fucking tire. But then when you put out Hot Case Sets, I was like, oh shit, this is actually like entertaining and interesting to watch. Like,
I appreciate that a ton, because I think that's what I want to hone as a skill, is like shooting a bunch of stuff that you don't know how it's going to connect together and then figuring it out in the edit to make it fun. I mean, my whole pitch for Hot Gay Sets when I started with Tuesdays, which I think drove the Patreon subscribers, because we tripled it when we started working together. And I was like, this has to be a documentary series that could be on Netflix. It has to, it has to be this quality where we're doing montage stuff. We got diversity of location, and it's an interesting thing to put together. And I really try to shoot so much when we do it that I can really quickly put together these things. I mean, that flat tire thing, which was really fun and really funny. Like, we shot probably for like an hour and a half, and that segment of the video is probably 7 minutes long, or 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's because I was able to find the moments that were funny and fun, and there was a lot of funny stuff. So, I'm really happy that I get to do that stuff, and I'm glad that you liked it, man.
Nah, I loved it. It was great. I looked like a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to drive and just pops by.
There was a lot of shots of you. I had to take out a lot of stuff. It was Katie, right?
Yes, it was Katie. Yeah.
I had to take out a lot of stuff. It was very misogynistic. It was insane. It was insane.
Well, it wasn't even. I think I piggybacked off of Mark. He's like, oh, look at her changing the tires, and she's wearing heels. What? You're a piece of shit.
Well, he's like, I remember it was like fix a flat. He's like, why don't you use that on yourself? There's a lot of stuff like that I'm like, this just makes us look so bad. And we were all doing it. All three of us.
Oh, I know. We were throwing them out there. I didn't know Katie that well, so I wasn't throwing it out too much. I was a little shy, but
she's the coolest.
She's pretty really chill. Cool. Yeah, I like
very
her.
Sexy in some weird way.
Yeah, no. I mean, in a not weird way.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the nicest person. I mean, she runs the Rogue Island Comedy Festival with Doug Key, and both of them have been super. I mean, I know Doug so well now.
Yeah,
we've worked on so many things together. But she's awesome. She's the coolest.
Yeah. No, she's great. You weren't at the last one with me and Mark. But who's that other guy? Jesse Default?
Oh yeah, Jesse Dufault.
Yeah, he was nice there. Guy. He filmed everything. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But yeah, Doug was definitely. He looked like a festival runner. He's driving one of those fucking golf trucks with like 8 passengers, and he's got like a headset on. I was like, even from afar, you look like you run a comedy festival.
Oh, he's figured it out, man. He's doing. I mean, now they do it twice a year, and they do another festival in Massachusetts too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so there's 3, and they're great. And the comics that come out for Rogue Island are fucking awesome,
dude. Some of the top of the crop, like
without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, so yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
Top of
the crop. My tits, remember that?
Yeah,
top of the crop.
Top of the crop. What did I say? Is it cream of the crop?
It's cream of the crop.
No, it's top of the crop.
That's the name of the episode.
It's a sloppy toppy of the crop. But yeah, I signed Chuck's tits, and and he has
great. I gave you my hotel room key. Remember that? Okay. You never came. I was on the bed with the rose petals. Bumped me out.
No, I came. I did come, just not in your room.
Okay. But on that note,
yes. On that note, are we wrapping this puppy up?
We are. I'm sorry.
Cool.
All right, we get to any topics about news topics.
That's okay.
Right.
But this was such a fun episode.
Dude, it was really fun.
There's a bunch of clips in here. I don't even think we have to talk about the topic. Who gives a fuck about those Mexicans?
Yeah,
but
isn't that your catchphrase? That's the name of your first album.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about the Mexicans?
Your first album.
No, I appreciate you having me on. I'm such a weird person to have on things because it's like I produce Tuesday with Stories. I'm a director. I work. I do all these weird things. So I'm not a comic. But I like doing live podcasts. I've been podcasting every week since 2009.
No, I know that, and if anything, I think you're a perfect guest to have on because you are one of the 3 people on Tuesdays with Stories, but you are never seen. And when you speak, you are shut down so fast.
It's funny. Some guy commented recently. He goes, Chuck is a piece of shit. He goes, whenever they make fun of him, he just sits there stone faced, and I'm like, I'm not on camera. How do you? And I think he's like gauging it by how much he hears me laugh. But I'm like, I don't even hold a mic the whole time. I put it on and then I'm like, you're such an insane person for thinking this. I laugh the whole time when they make fun of me.
No, I know. There's no way you could keep going back week after week if you were genuinely pissed off at the stuff they were saying to you.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, so besides the Funbearable live show at the Rhode Island Comedy Connection coming up on June 1st, where else can people find you?
So I'm at Discount Chuck on Instagram and Twitter. And, you know, at Funbearable Pod is the podcast. I share a ton of stuff like that. But on my page, you'll find a lot of stuff about Tuesdays with Stories. Tell 'em Steve Dave. I just started working on Impractical Jokers. I have a lot of random stuff that I'm involved in. So it's really fun. I feel very lucky to be just bouncing around to all these bizarre things.
Yeah, man, you're living the life.
I hope things keep going in a positive direction, because you never know if you get the call tomorrow from everybody. I just get 4 voicemails.
Right.
They're like, you stink.
Yeah, we
read about what people said on Reddit.
Or like we downloaded the pod editor. We don't need you anymore.
AI is replacing you.
But until then, you're doing well, and I'm so happy for you. And
you too, buddy. You're killing it. Look at the studio.
It's all right.
It's wonderful. People should see these lights. I've never seen lights so big.
It's a fucking shit show.
It's great. This is amazing.
Well, so what do I got going on? Thanks for asking. I got
Raj, anything going on?
thank you, Eric. That's very
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you guys on next Monday.
I put on my coat hat and I walk out the door.
Oh my God. If the episode ends there, I'll kill myself. No, what do I got? A couple of dates with Norman. I'm doing a Port Chester with him, I think in a week or two. And then we're doing a couple of shows at the Comb Over Comedy, which is a barbershop, but they turned it into a comedy show at night. It's
That's
called
cool.
Comb Over. Yeah, it's in Long Island City. That'll be on June 12th. 2 shows, a 7 and a 9 o'clock. So that'll be fun. And then I got a Don't Tell coming up in Philly this weekend. Yeah, and then I'm headlining some shows in Philly over the next couple of months.
Nice.
And then I got my monthly Holy Hand Grenade comedy show, which you should come out to.
I would love to come out.
Yeah, it's in Brooklyn.
Nice. I do. Sometimes I kind of go like, I just want to practice photography. So maybe I'll take some pictures for you.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I can use, if you want to practice, I also want to practice. Maybe we could take each other's portfolio shots for Instagram or whatever.
Let's do it, man. So you're going to do the barbershop thing. You know that blue juice they got?
The blue juice. Oh, yeah. Where they keep the combs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever want to drink that?
I don't know if I've ever wanted to drink it.
I want to drink it so bad.
Really?
Yeah, even though I know it's poisonous. I just want to sip. That won't kill me.
Take a sip. Let me know what you think.
I'm trying to.
I just never knew what it did. I mean, I guess it's a disinfectant, right? But
that's what I imagine.
Yeah.
That's probably not great to drink. But, you can put like a Splenda in there. It's going to taste fine.
possibly, yeah, or a Crystal Light, just
I like cold foam too. You ever have one of the cold foams?
Oh, I love cold foam. Cold foam with some Barbicide, that's my go-to.
Drink anything with cold foam.
You know what they don't make anymore, or I don't see it as often, is the cheese foam. Do you ever get that?
Cheese foam?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?
So they figured out a way to combine cold foam with like cream cheese. So when you have the foam at the end of the sip, it's like sweet and cheesy. It's incredible.
Wow.
But I have not
foam.
seen it anywhere.
This sounds like you're pranking me. I'm the prank on the performer, I think. That's what's going on here. I do. I mean, one of my favorite things in the world is a strawberry cream cheese Danish.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe sweet and cheese is solid for a coffee.
No, it's solid. Yeah, they it's like a cap. It's like a foam cap they put on top of the coffee, and then you get a little bit of it in your mouth when you take a sip of the coffee, and it's the best tasting thing in the world.
Oh, okay. I'm interested.
Yeah. Look, you can make it at home. I've made it at home, but it's you make it once and you're like, okay, I'm over it.
Cheese foam.
Yeah, cheese foam. Yeah,
I want that to be the name of the episode.
cheese foam. yeah, that's what I say when I'm about to come.
Because is it going to be cheese or foam? You don't know. If it's cold in here, it's cheese. At home, when it's warm, it's foam.
Yeah, it's frothy. It's extra. But Eric, what's going on with you? You got anything coming up?
No, it's just this.
No, come on. You got something. You got to have something.
I do. I have a similar documentary thing, but I don't want to talk about it because it's not edited yet. It's not fully done. It's not. We just need music.
Okay. But you can still
plug it.
But that would be my plug every week because it's
Plug it every week,
it's been
man.
a year and a half thing that it's just never.
Listen to this guy. This guy's
it
figured
every
out the
week.
formula.
Make it fun.
that shit every week.
We do. So we have to do Narragansett beer ads on my podcast every week. and they don't give us copy.
Right.
So we just come up with the worst shit because we've got to plug it every week. We don't want it to be boring, just like Eric. Eric doesn't want to repeat himself. So we'll say that, like we did one that was super sullen. We said that our rep died and he got crushed by these two. We did it for like 4 minutes before he broke the bit. We'll be like, we came up with new catchphrases for Narragansett beer. And I'm like, here's one. I go, oh, my stomach. We just come up with the worst shit.
Oh my God.
And we just do it cold.
Does Narragansett reach out and be like, hey, man?
Yeah, don't they watch it?
Cam is our rep. He's the coolest guy ever. He's like, I love it. He's like, hit it harder. I love it. It was great. He's the best guy ever.
Yeah, so you never know.
Yeah,
you
so
never
riff
know.
a little bit, Eric.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
I'll try next
Okay.
week.
Next week, I expect a plug.
Yeah, funny plug.
A funny plug at the end of and a
Lost the
butt
hard
plug.
drive. The footage is all gone. You're trying to reenact it. That's funny.
Oh shit, I forgot to hit record. One of those things. But okay, cool. Well, this was such a fun episode. Thank you so much for coming by. It's such a good time.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, that's really awesome. I appreciate it,
dude.
buddy.
And we got to get some hangs in. The few hangs we've had that were so fun. We got to do more of it.
And plus, my girlfriend's here now.
Yes.
Colorado. She just moved here. We'll do some double dating.
do some doubles.
And you like food. You like good food.
Look at me. Do I fucking like food?
If you like food, then I really like food. But seriously, let's go to some awesome restaurants.
Dude, sold 100%. We'll set something up after this.
Hell yeah, buddy.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for coming by, Eric. Thank you so much for joining us.
Word.
As you know, well, I mean, you have to. You're part of the thing.
That's true.
But
I don't have to.
well, like
AI exists.
no. The Roger Gets a Machine. It's me and you. It's like you didn't join us. You're here. You're the Roger Gets a Machine as well.
I like that.
I'm the machine. I'm the machine.
You're the machine. We've finally figured out. 20 episodes in.
I am the machine. Fuck.
I'm over. You owe me a Coke. You owe me a blowjob.
All right. Okay.
Well, I said it first.
It's cold in here. It'll come out thick.
It is really cold.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Later.
Bye. All right, dude. That was so fun.
That was great. That was really funny. A lot of laughs.